Hi, this is Charlotte with photoshoplovers.com, and today we are going to be doing another beginner tutorial with our series of the Adobe Photoshop 6 beginner series. We're going to continue that series, and today we have a new tutorial for you. We're going to learn how to color the eye in Photoshop for beginners. So let's get started. So we're going to open our document. If you don't have this picture, don't worry. I've provided the link down in the description. You can download this photo and you can add it right in here. Now, if you don't have a copy of Photoshop, that's okay. You can get a copy of Photoshop on Amazon.com on the cheap. I will provide a link down in the description of other ways that you can get Photoshop if you don't have Adobe Photoshop CS6 already. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click on the layer here, okay, and so that way we can unlock that layer. Now we're going to right click on our layer and duplicate the layer, and we're going to call this eye coloring, okay, and we're going to lock this layer back, okay, because we're done with it. And now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to select the area where we want to affect it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the ellipse marquee tool, okay, and we are going to drag out a circle right on the iris. And if you messed up, that's okay. You can press Control Z and try again. Now this is the tricky part. In order to select both of the irises, if you just drag out here, this one's going to disappear. So what you need to do this time is you need to hit the Shift key and drag out the circle over the iris. Okay? Alright, so now we have two eyeballs selected. Now we're going to go over here and we're going to change the color using an adjustment layer. We're going to use hue and saturation. Now there are many ways to change the eye color in Photoshop, but this is just one of the special ways that you can do it. I find this to be the most simplest way. So what you're going to do now is, so this layer, the hue and saturation only affects this layer, okay? We are going to, let's separate here. Okay, so we're going to click this little button here, and what this does is that it only affects, see it has a little arrow going down, it will only affect this layer, okay? So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go ahead and change the eye color. Can you see the eye color is already changing? Okay, let's say that we're going to change this to green. Okay, we're going to bump up the saturation a little bit, and there we go. That looks pretty good. Now we're not done with this yet, not by a long shot, so we're going to close this out. So as you can see, this layer is only affected because if we turn this layer off, the eyes are still blue on this layer. Okay, if you turn that layer off and turn it back on, it's green. So this adjustment layer is only affecting the top level layer. So we're not done with this yet. We're going to take this layer here and we're going to, the hue and saturation layer, and we're going to apply a blend mode. We're going to apply a darken. So that way it blends with the background of the eye. Over here, you can try different blend modes to see how it looks. As you can see, multiply looks really funky. Color burn looks really insane. The darker color kind of blends both of the colors together. Lighten doesn't really do anything. Screen looks weird. Color dodge will give you kind of a glassy look. As you can see, if I turn it on and turn it off, that looks pretty cool. You can just play around with the different blend modes, and you can find different ways that the eyes will have different effects with the you know, with the different blend modes. But I think color dodge looks pretty sweet. Yeah, what do you guys think? So you can also take this layer and you can add a sharpening to it to make the eyes pop a little bit more. So you go to filter, sharpen, and then smart sharpen. Now to kind of get a look of before and after, you can turn on and off the preview button, and as you can see, the amount isn't really that high. You can do a more accurate and just keep turning it on and off to see how that looks. So actually, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to select it to affect it. So we need to get our mark, because we don't want every single thing on this picture to be sharpened. We just want the eyeballies to be sharpened. So we're going to select, oops, see, sometimes I mess up too, Control Z. We're going to select the area of the eyeball, and then we're going to shift click over on this one. Oops, I didn't get the whole area. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know why I'm having a hard time selecting that. Okay, there we go. That looks much better. Okay, so you go to filter, sharpen, smart sharpen. And now you can see it's just affecting the eyes. See? You turn it off and turn it on. And now you can bump up the radius and make your eyes a little bit more sparkly. You can do a lens blur. You can see how it will look. You can zoom in. Turn it down a little bit. So that gives the eyeballs a really cool glossy effect. That kind of looks alien-like, so I'm going to Control Z that, and let's do another sharpen, because that was, I don't know why the preview didn't show very well. Let's do it on a Gaussian blur and bump that down a little bit and press OK. See how that looks. Okay, so the eyes are more intensified, definitely. But I think it has way too much saturation. So I'm going to go back to our hue and saturation layer, and you can just click on that. And it should bring up the panel here. And we're going to bump down the saturation a little bit. And you can change the color too. That looks pretty cool. But I'm going to go back to the green. You can do a colorize. You can see how that looks. I like the colorize. It makes it look a little bit more natural. So as you can see, the eyes, look how much better they look. They are really popping. Look how dull the eyes were before, and look how they're popping now. Now that is just sweet. Now if you zoom out, you can see like all the detail. That looks pretty epic. Now another way you can do eye coloring, and you can merge these layers together, and now you can see the difference before and after. Now you can take that layer and you can do a color balance with it. You can play with the different, whoops, I forgot we got to select it to affect it, remember? Okay, let's zoom back in and let's select the eyeballs. Okay. And select transform selection. Press enter, and then now shift click on the other eye. Oh my gosh, my shift click is all over the place. Shift click, Come on. Oops. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Come on, shift click. Okay, I got it that time. It looks a little funky, but oh well. So you can go over here and you can play with the color balance. You can brighten it. You can make it more greener. You can change the midtones, the shadows, and highlights. And that gives you a more crisper green looking eye, you know. And you can just keep, you know, playing around with it. If you see the difference here, that's like really sparkly and pretty and looking good there. So I hope you like this tutorial. You can do the same thing with brown or any other colors that you'd like to do. This is just an example of green. You can also choose with the hue and saturation. Of course, you can choose other colors. As you can see, that is like a hazel. You can change it to red. Just many different. I'm not selecting it, so it's changing the skin too. But as you can see, the before and after, it looks amazing. Like, you can see the huge difference to make the eye so pretty. But yeah, so this is a beginner tutorial, so it's very simple, very easy to do. If you like this tutorial and you would like me to make more Photoshop CS6 tutorials for beginners, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I do have a tip jar where you can donate to my channel. Any amount is accepted so I can buy myself a coffee, because you know how I love my coffee. And if you want more information, go to photoshoplovers.com, and thank you so much for watching my video. You guys have a nice night.